This is a special meeting Tuesday, August 17th, 2023. We're in the Public Works Building. So Tammy, would you call the roll?
Mayor Miller,
Here.
Mr. Smith,
Yes.
Ms. Hamilton.
Here.
Mr. Welly,
Here.
Mr. Wolf.
Here.
All right, so next on the agenda is going to start with citizens' comments. I am going to ask that, make sure all your cell phones are turned off to silent, please, and allow everybody to have their say. Be respectful, keep your voices low when people are talking, and you'll come up to the podium, state your name, address, and make your statement. Anyway. Business comments.
That includes you, George.
All right.
My name is George Gill, 124th Street.
Welcome, Mr.
I left the regular council meeting on the morning of August 8th and was, for the first time in a long time, walking out the door pretty happy. For the first time, Mayor Miller, since you've taken office, it felt like the full council had actually listened to the citizens. Citizens and property owners that you all are elected to represent. It appeared that you all had heard every single citizen that spoke say the same thing. Don't rush to hire. Take your time. Be thorough. Be meticulous. Extend the search till you find the very best applicant that not only meets the minimum qualifications for that position, but that also brings honesty, character, integrity, and sound moral and ethical values to our city. Character beyond reproach. To help you all in that search, Mr. Mill graciously accepted to fill in the administrator's position on an interim basis until such time as the council could find and accept a person of high caliber. There would be some interviews along the way, sure. But as far as the citizens were concerned, there would be no vote on that day. And that afternoon I heard that the vote had been taken and Mr. Hubbard was voted in by the 3 male council members. Reality set in, rose-colored glasses got knocked off, and my excitement for the council unity and citizen representation was short-lived. The 3 council members delivered what I think is a sucker punch to the groin of the citizens and property owners. While we were looking one way, you blindsided us, and you unified rushed to vote. Not a single person in attendance at that morning meeting, including the 2 council members that voted no, anticipated or expected that a vote would be taken that day. So I really don't know why I was so shocked and angry. I guess I was angry at myself because I let my guard down, as I know a whole bunch of other citizens did as well. But then I just decided to channel that anger and just get busy. I encourage all of us.
Okay. Sorry.
To
All right. Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Good evening. I'm Cindy Jolly, and I live at 2703 Highway 98. It's okay. I'll try to be brief. My background is human resources, training, and benefits administration. I feel like what we should do as a council when we take an oath and as a mayor is do the very best job we can do. Do it with integrity and honesty. There was things about this interview process that failed to meet the standard. It put us subject to liability as a city. We've rushed to search, we've interviewed, we've called some and not others. We've not thoroughly done background checks. There's a process and there's an integrity there. And for our employees, it is important that we follow the processes, set up an example in the hiring process to be fair and honest and open. Hire the best candidate. When you truly get a candidate that fits the job and the job fits the person, you'll have a unanimous vote. You should be able to sit down and list 5 reasons specifically for every candidate, the strengths, the weaknesses. Why, other than you may like me as a person, but I may not be your best
Ms. Jones,
city administrator.
Can you address the council?
I'm
Address the
sorry.
council. Yeah,
I'm sorry. But I may not be your best city administrator. And I think in all fairness that we should slow down, give him an opportunity to do the job. Obviously, you trust him, you've put him in that role. Let's broaden our search. If we need to hire an independent person to come in and offer integrity to the process, to build confidence, we owe that to the city. You know, we are citizens. Our tax dollars, and there is an email that I want to share with you that was a response to a citizen, very quickly. I always appreciate input from the residents of the city. I would like to say that there are residents of the city that cannot or do not attend meetings because they are afraid. They're afraid of repercussions for speaking out. They do, however, email, call, or stop by to see me to voice their opinion. I've received a lot of support for the hiring of Mr. Hubbard, probably 3 to 1. The most important, and probably won't agree, but my opinion is of the staff. Staff overwhelmingly is asking me to support Mr. Hubbard and want someone that will defend and support them. Without our staff of our city, our city is nothing. For the needs of our city and the staff, I feel it is the best candidate currently to have. If we have employees that need to be represented, as a council, why have we not taken action to lift their issues up? This is not the way that you go and hire somebody because you want them to defend your employees. If you have a hostile work environment, if you have issues, we need to be taking care of them. And there's a process, but it's not by
Ms. John, it was
responding.
your time's up. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
You'll see me again, I'm listening anytime.
You're welcome to stand up again in a minute. Let's give everybody a chance. Yes,
May I speak?
in the back. He had his hand up.
Oh, in the back.
That's okay. Hang on.
Okay, I'm
hang on.
sorry. If that gentleman was first,
You go ahead.
You go ahead. He'll just take your seat until you're ready to take it back.
Gary Woodham, 113 North 38th Street, Mexico Beach, Florida. I've sat here and I've listened to people talk. I see a lot of faces. I'm just talking to the public and y'all too. I sat here for 6.5 years. I've been here a resident for 25. I know what goes on in this city. I know Mel very well. I know Chris Hubbard very well. I can tell y'all without any doubt, Chris Hubbard was one of the best city managers the city has ever had. He got more accomplished. He worked with his employees. He had a good rapport with everyone, except for a group of new people that came in that said they wanted to start the slate clean. I'm asking all of y'all to, and I talk to the employees of this city quite a bit, please support your city and vote for Chris Hubbard. He, to me, is the best candidate that y'all have had put out here to vote on to represent this city and get things. Right now, the city's at a standstill. I know Mel can't just jump in here and take over everything, but we're stagnant right now. And if we don't do something, we, the citizens, are the ones that are going to suffer. So please vote for Chris.
My name's Bubba Harmon. I live out that way, 1011, 386. I've been here 68 years. And probably me and Al and a few others, the only ones been running horses up and down the beach and motorcycles back when there was nobody here. But I just want to say, all the locals, which is us few, are glad to see all the people that have moved into this area. Not against the people moving into this area. I am so happy that you finally found the heaven and God's place that we got.
Yeah.
The only thing I hate to see is the fussing and fighting. Not so much the changing, because you are going to have changing. When you find a place like this, you're going to tell somebody else about it. And then they're going to tell somebody else about it. Well, it's going to change, but we do have an LDR and a comprehensive plan that you can only go so high on commercial, so high on residential. And it does give you the ability to develop, unlike Panama City. We don't want high rises. I didn't want high rises. Charlie Parker that developed this place, he didn't want high rises. That's why you see it like it is. I would just like to say, I've never seen the city as divided as it is now. Not sticking my finger at nobody. But we all got to get along and get together. But I'd just like to make a recommendation. Chris Hubbard was here. He did such a great job. And the boat, I don't know how to put it to you, it's halfway sinking. And I think he could bail the water better than anybody else we could put in here right now. And we got to get this going. I got friends that are trying to build development. We're trying to possibly get something started over on our property. Lord goodness, I just don't, right now is just not a good time to try to bring anything to the city. And we just need to get organization to get somebody in charge, not in charge, somebody that can take the oars and go. It's already been here before. Thank you.
17504 Kathy Lane. You know, I don't know why, but a lot of people in this town want to make excuses for crime, for criminals, right, even on our own city council. But when I worked with 4 government agencies against investigating Paul Francis, who owned Toucans. Paul Francis was a convicted felon, did time as a cocaine dealer in Massachusetts. He came here, as a matter of fact, using a false name. I'm the one that traced him and realized who he really was. He ended up going to prison the first time. The second time, back when Chris Hubbard was city manager, Chris Hubbard was being comped every night at Toucans. I don't know why. Also, I saw a video, and I can bring government agencies in here, including DEA, FBI, IRS, and Florida Department of Law Enforcement. There was a video at a dining room table at Paul Francis's house of 6 men smoking crack cocaine. One of those guys was Chris Hubbard. I'm not saying he was, I'm saying he was sitting at that table.
This is ridiculous.
Hey,
I'm saying he was
please,
sitting
you
at
have
that
to be
table.
removed.
So people that have been here for 3 years, 4 years, you know, they don't know. They have no idea. At the same time, another person that was sitting at that same table was Sean Gomes. If y'all want to remember, look back, he died at the Bay County Sheriff's Department's lockup. Gomes was in prison with Paul Francis in Massachusetts. He also drugged and raped young girls in our community. He also raped 2 little girls in Massachusetts and attacked the guy with a sword. So, but in prison, he was Paul's protector. And I'm telling you that Chris Hubbard was there every night there. And when I had a violation of a construction on Toucans, I went to the building department. They told Chris Hubbard. I found out later Chris Hubbard went and made the inspection. Chris Hubbard's he does not have a degree in engineering, and he does not have a certificate to make any inspections in the state of Florida. And now you know Toucans is gone. And the structure of that building, it should have never been gone. I went to Purdue, one of the best engineering schools in this nation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Yes, sir.
Alex Hogan, 425 7th Street. You know, I got to talk to you. This is a pretty nice meeting, to be honest with you. I think the process for the election was not properly executed, but I do agree with Cindy in how to properly do one. But I also really truly agree with this gentleman, Bubba Harmon. So I have a whole book here, the do's and don'ts, and particularly the don'ts, you know, why we shouldn't. Because I have nothing against Mr. Hubbard, nothing whatsoever. I did, and I still contend that the process was not right. I think the decision was made prior to the interview. But be as it may, that's over. What I want to do is each one of these good people here, let's come together. Let's stop this bickering, negativity, divisiveness. You know, it's just not right. We do have to come together. You get on any website, you know, and there's about 4 or 5 people that continually tears her down without any evidence whatsoever. But it's a neat thing to do, okay? Not one of them has ever produced a fact, okay? You know, this lady, I don't know why she's still standing there, to be honest with you. She's been berated, maligned, but she still sits there, takes it, because she wants to make this a better place too. And she needs your people, because you're part of the problem. You're the major problem around here. You are the major problem. These are the good folks. They want a nice paradise, okay? But we got to stop all the fighting. Thank you.
Al Cathy, 140 Palm Street. One question. Given the 2 administrators have left the city, is there unity amongst this council about how a new administrator will be dealt with? Are we still dealing with a CEO and CFO mentality, or are we dealing with that you as our group are going to be responsible for giving the new administrator direction?
I think, anybody want to answer Mr. Cathy's question?
The new administrator answers.
To the council.
Goes to the
Well,
council.
As far as I know.
Okay, well,
I
there's 2
understand
not
that
here because that
in
wasn't done. So I'm just
I don't
asking
know if
now,
that's the truth.
is that the new, is that the norm? You're not claiming anymore to be a CEO, CFO and have unilateral control?
I've never claimed to have unilateral control, sir. And I only spoke straight from the charter, as you did one time, sir. So, do you have anything else you'd like to address the
I
council?
would
with? You
just-
got probably a few more minutes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't think we can bury our head in saying and act like we don't know why there's 2 administrators gone. So I'm just asking,
And let me
are
ask you a
there-
question.
sure,
Is it not, how many administrators left on your watch, sir?
oh, probably several. Several.
And was it because you were
No,
CFO,
they
CEO?
Well, I'm just
whatever?
asking, no, I wasn't
Okay.
CEO or CFO.
Mhm.
I didn't claim that. I
And
didn't
you've
go,
never
I
asked-
didn't I didn't dictate powers and duties outside the realm of the city council.
Me, I asked
So-
what I dictated, sir.
Do I need to answer that?
That's up to you. You don't have
No,
to.
I'll just let the council answer that. They know the answer.
Oh, okay, you've been talking
So
to the
I'm-
council, so I'm sure.
No, I
we
don't have to.
got
It's on,
taken
it's on,
care
it's on,
of.
it's on the tape. It's on the
Thank you.
tape. Look, I didn't come for I just asked, is there now unity about how a new administrator will be given direction and orders? Is that, so there's all 5 of you agree that that's the way it'll be?
It's the way it's always been, sir. I don't think anything changed. We have 5 council members. Council members are the legislative body, and we do hire and fire the city administrators. Yes, sir, just as you, when you were here.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Have a good day. Anyone else? Excuse me.
Ernie Rice Center, 504 Maryland Boulevard.
As you all know, I've lived here for a long time, and I've been through several city administrators. I'd like to speak on behalf to support Chris Hubbard. He is, without a doubt, the best city administrator we have ever had. I found yesterday, cleaning out something, I found a VCR tape from 2010 when Al was the mayor and Jack Mullen and the others, councilmen, most of which are here tonight. They went around when they were given their reports, and they were all dressed up, they had their suits and ties on. Chris had a long white sleeve shirt on, his tie. When it was his time to go over the ordinances for the second reading, he went through each one of them and he explained them. He also, which I have never heard another administrator do, whatever the ordinance was, if it involved money, he told you exactly to the penny where the money was going, how much they needed, or how much was left over. Now, I've never heard another one do that since him. He is truthful, he is honest, I will stand behind him, and you will not be sorry if you vote for him, I promise you, because he is a good man.
Yes, sir.
Good evening, my name is Jack Collins. I live at 121 Miramar Drive. I've been here 20 years, and I've had the experience of working with Chris Hubbard. And in my opinion, he's a top-notch individual. He's an absolutely gifted manager and administrator. He has the respect and authority of not only the folks here and our citizens, but also the other organizations in Bay County. And I was delighted when I heard that he had been selected for the job. And I can assure you that the city will be in top hands when he comes and takes over. Thank you.
Todd DeFollett, 215 Kim Cove. I'm the fourth of the people that work with Chris that's in this room, I guess. I can also say that I think he is a wonderful city administrator. I think he'll do us a very good job. I hear people say stuff that I worked with Chris for 4 years and never seen any of this. Our council, Connie made a statement, our council used to come dressed up. We had coat ties and all this kind of stuff. We worked together. Everybody's talking about working together. We worked together. Of the 8 years I was on council, pretty well we worked together. Not always the same, never will be, shouldn't be. If everybody always the same, something's not right. But you need to work together. Everybody. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Carol Bonanno, 402 La Siesta. To the council people that are pulling together as a team and doing what you're supposed to and voting the way you should, thank you. Stay strong and keep doing it. To the members of the city council that are not doing that, I'm going to pray for you because the energy you expend trying to put things over on people and ulterior motives, you must be exhausted.
Diane Kenny, 223 Kim Cove. I don't know Chris Hubbard personally, but I hear everyone talking about him, and it seems to me that experience goes a long way when you're hiring somebody, an awful long way. It sounds like he's a team player. Our employees like him. They want to work with him. What's not to like about that? I don't know. To go out and start interviewing people that we don't know anything about them, it just doesn't make sense to me when you have the person that seems like he could do the job, and the rest of the employees want to work with him. So I vote for Chris.
Anyone else? All right, we can close the public meeting. All right, let's move to the table. We're here tonight to review and take action on the city administrator agreement with Mr. Hubbard. I guess we can start to the right. There you go. You should have been sitting there and you did it every time.
Poor old Rich over there.
One concern that I have, under the job requirements, it said that educational training, that we wanted a 4-year college degree, something that's related to business administration, public administration. It's not real clear on Chris's resume. He does say he has political science hours, but it doesn't specify if he does have a bachelor's degree, and that is a requirement of the job. The second person that we interviewed was Patrick Marsh. He identifies himself as having a master's degree and also a bachelor's degree in public administration, business administration. My concern is we need to identify, does Chris have the bachelor's degree? Does he have the 4-year degree that is part of the job requirement? Relating it to job resource person?
Yeah, if it is a requirement of the position, then the candidates should have been screened, and then the application would not have been forwarded. If it says it is a required, if it's preferred or recommended, then you have some flexibility there. And it just means that they could go back through the entire process again if he's qualified.
Well, it does say job requirements here, so has that been verified? Does anybody know that?
I'm reading the third bullet point that says experience can be substituted for education requirements. Experience qualification can be waived or altered provided incumbent has demonstrated experience of a nature capable to quickly perform at a high level.
Once again, going back to Patrick Marsh, who does appear to be higher educated, he was under the city administrative search when we put out our judge who we preferred best. Of course, Mr. March received wasn't it like 22 points? 22.
Yep.
And then, of course, Chris Hubbard received 14. My concern is if we would simply just interview those two, and if we hire Hubbard as opposed to Marsh, are we setting ourselves up for some type of lawsuit? Because he is more qualified educationally.
No, he's not.
And he does seem to have as much job experience as well. Can you state that? I mean, what would you know? Since that's your
I don't know if I can answer your question.
Point of order, please. Dwight, we need to discuss this. So I'd really appreciate it if y'all had y'all's opportunity, give us our opportunity. We heard you, we know, okay? So please give us the opportunity to talk. And if Miss Linda wants to address somebody with professional experience, I think that's okay. It's her privilege. Just like our privilege to talk to Mr. Clinton, his professional experience. All right?
I'm just bringing up the point. I don't want to set the city up for a lawsuit, just in case both of these people interviewed for the job. I'm not saying one's better than the other. I'm just saying, according to their resumes, it appears there's a difference there. And, they both have a lot of experience. One definitely has a master's and a BS degree. One indicates he went to college, but he doesn't state that he has a 4-year degree, which we did put that as part of the job requirement. But they both do have experience in city administration, so how does that really weigh out?
You guys, each one of you individually has to weigh that out in your own mind. No court's gonna step into the stead of what you decide. You have a right to to weigh those
I didn't.
resumes and their qualifications, their education and everything.
I'm just trying to bring up a point.
Let me say, if you just let me know you want to speak, I'm not going to speak an overview.
Okay.
Okay,
Sorry.
for all of us. For all of us. Robert's rules, I was told I need to follow them. Oh, I'm sorry if that upsets anybody.
No, I didn't
You
mean to,
understand,
I didn't
though.
mean to interrupt this, Councilwoman. Sorry.
That's my point. I'm just saying, one has verification of his college degrees. One just says he has 100 hours, does not specify if he has the degree. And both of the resumes indicate a lot of experience in city administration. We interviewed just those two people. You know, is that going to make us liable in any way? I'm just throwing that out there for whatever that's worth.
That might not help me other things.
I'm about that.
Are you ready? No.
Yeah, but I
Are you
want to
finished?
answer.
I am.
Okay. All right, Mr.
Can you
Smith,
answer
you're
a
on.
question? Maybe that's what I should ask you.
I'm not worried about any liability in this situation.
Or the loss.
I'm not worried, yes, I'm not worried about that. I think you as a council can weigh those two resumes and make a decision that you think is right. You can offset one's education with the other one has more experience, and particularly here.
Mr. Marsh also has one.
I agree.
Sorry.
But you guys have a right to evaluate those.
You finished with your questions?
Well, I wanted him to verify about getting the lawsuit.
All right, now you're still up.
I'm still, and I looking over what he counter offered with us, I want us to accept. The 12 weeks, everything's in red. The pay raise, the moving expenses. I think we should move forward. We done voted for him. I don't think his counter offer is that much out of line.
Is that all you had? sir?
Thank you.
Yes, sir, you're next.
I'm going to agree. The only thing I was somewhat concerned about was changing the 12 to 16 weeks, but overall 4 weeks, and in the environment that we portray online, I think I would probably want a 16-week severance. That's all I have.
Yeah, as far as his schooling, I mean, that's something I looked at, but I've looked at a lot of applications in the past years, and some of these guys that were in the military and got out weren't the type of guys who went to college first, went in the military. It was either or. And he seems like one of those guys that did that, went right into a job. Job experience adds in quite a bit, and I think in some places you go to, they'll actually give you credit based on your experience towards college. So they'll overlook that, and I think it's overlooked in the job description anyway, so it's our choice. His job experience is more than enough for me.
Can I add more?
Yes, ma'am.
Regarding the salary, you know, initially we offered 85,000 and he came back with a counter offer of 108. 105, whatever. But once again, you know, I think he's a man that does not have a bachelor's degree or 4-year degree. He's had a 9-year lapse in city government where he's been a real estate agent all that time. I think to be able to name your price, that's a bit much for me. I do not agree with that salary range.
Yes, sir.
Also, under
Sorry.
terminations, section B, in the event the administrator is charged with indictment of a felony, could we also throw in misdemeanor there?
Anything you guys want to throw in?
Misdemeanor would include things like DUI, domestic violence, cannabis use, assault and battery, trespassing. It gives you a much broader range than just a felony charge.
Well, no, I think you're absolutely
Yeah.
right with that.
So how do we go about doing that if we choose to do that?
You would tell me, instruct me to make that change, and then you would have to ask Mr. Hubbard if he would agree with it. I'm sure, I don't know what his feelings would be about that, but it's up to you guys.
All right, so we'll keep that on the agenda possible for voting. All right.
I can tell you how one experience that I had was in the city of Port St. Joe. We had a council member, and in our charter it said if he's convicted of a crime, it didn't differentiate between misdemeanor and felony, and he got convicted of a DUI and he was removed from office.
An option, so get that in your agenda.
It's at the discretion of the council.
You got, whatever you guys tell me to do, I'll put in.
I had, on the salary, salary in the state of Florida for a city manager is, the lowest is 97.5, the high is 120. The median average for the state of Florida for a city manager is 106, so I don't have a problem with the 105.
All right, so the city, actually, just for knowledge, city manager versus the city administrator, there are differences. So-
There are, and I think that's being discussed now, whether ours is a city manager or a city administrator, and it probably falls more on the city manager than anything.
It says city administrators, unless we change our job descriptions and all our ordinance for that. Okay. All right, so anything else, Mr. Wolf?
No.
Okay. So, I'm just gonna state my facts that I have and how I went about, when we were looking at resumes. I try to be very, very fair. I actually selected my top 5 based on a rubric. I made a rubric of, their experience, their back, had they worked in this type of environment before? What kind of city did they work in? A lot of different things went into that. Their education, of course, the years they, and then I just gave them numbers. And that's the way I got my top 5. And I thought that was very fair, it was unbiased. I didn't know anything about their backgrounds. I didn't look at any Facebooks or any, and I thought it was very fair. And Mr. Marsh was first on my list at first, and then I changed it and I put Mr. Day first. And so it was Day and then Marsh, and Mr. Hubbard actually did not make my scale. I think he was like a 9. And I think Mr. Marsh was like a 15. And Day was 14, 15. Anyway, I thought it was a very fair. I think we, as the council, have failed to provide a clear outline of our hiring process. I think it's very important that, you say you want to come together, you say you want to work together, you say you want to do right, we need to do right by these citizens. We should back up and have put together, us as a council, a hiring process and follow a process where you use rubrics, where you use scoring, so there's no bias in it. This to me feels very biased. We did not actually have any firm interview process. We didn't have any grading. Mr. Michael had told us that he would bring us a scoring sheet. We did not get that, and it's okay, I understand, and but at that morning meeting, it was my understanding, it sounded like a consensus, it sounds like we were working together and we had agreed that Mel would come on, that we would interview, and we would not be voting that day. So it was rather shocking to myself as well that this got pushed through. And normally, the way you work, even if you do interviews, you're going to have those that you're going to bring back for a second interview because you may have more than one that looks good. And Mr. Chris may have been one of those to come back if we had had a good hiring process. I think we failed. I think we failed as council in these interviews. I think we have failed the citizens and not being better prepared for these interviews. And I think it's a shame that Mr. Day dropped out because he was called and felt, in his words, intimidated. When I looked at these, Mr. Marsh had the most years of experience and recent experience. Mr. Day had the second at 8 years and 3 months. Mr. Hubbard had 7 years and 6 months with no recent experience. And really, that's really how his grading went. It was just very much because no degree, and his maximum budget was around 10 million from what I could tell from his resume. The others were 49 and 62. So, you know, I think also character plays a lot into things. I was a little taken back, to say the least, by Mr. Hubbard's interview. He was, to me, he was very talkative, and that, with experience from interviewing, a lot of times that's a real, you know, an issue. He also was put on an air to me that he could say anything, and he did use some swear words in his interview. I was taken back by that, you know, and we do that, okay? But anyway, Mr. Hubbard also, I feel, did not meet the job description where you had it outlined. Here's first, education, then at least 2 years experience, and then, you know, experience can take place of education. So I get that too. But this position, and this is my big point, this position serves as a position of trust. This position has access to a lot of sensitive information in our city. This position has oversight and approval authority over major projects, managing millions of dollars of taxpayers' money. Also is instrumental in preparing the city for annual budget every year, oversight of our employees, and you know, with the expectation of providing fair, just leadership. This position also is responsible for holding our employees accountable by our handbook. So if I'm looking at somebody that I'm expected that they're going to be holding people accountable by our handbook, our handbook has high standards. Our handbook, our employees' handbook has very high standards. I don't know if anybody else has looked at it, but our employees are held high. I think this position should be held higher than our employees. And some of those things that our employees can get in trouble for and be fired for are, you know, things such as their conduct. If their conduct, and it says right here, even off duty, if their conduct represents this city's or hurts this city's reputation, they can lose their job. Even off duty, they can't have poor judgment and poor character and continue to be employed without either being reprimanded or maybe terminated. They cannot engage in any unprofessional or criminal conduct. And it goes on and on and on. Character. They're held high on character of having outside employment. They're also, we've got a policy of nepotism. The state of Florida has a policy of nepotism that's higher than ours, so really that state of Florida nepotism is rules, but our handbook. Dating inside unprofessional behavior result from driving records, discrimination and harassment. So, you know, based on what I've heard, and I'm not going by just what you heard because you hear all kinds of things. I think that we need to make sure, no matter who we hire, and Mr. Hubbard's background came back, but we had a very low level background check. It was a 10-year, and it only covered a very few things. The same software that Tammy ran this through, that apparently we pay for or whatever, has a very high one, where they check not only their background for many years, they check bankruptcies, they check, I mean, everything. It's like an FBI, like what I have to go through as a nurse, because I'm going to take care of people. Well, he's going to be taking care of our money. I think we need to run it through a high background check. I don't think we need an employee background check. That's my opinion. I think that the situation of our council talking with Mr. Day was inappropriate, and I got a second call from him. I got a call actually from him that he got a second call from Mr. Smith the day after the interviews saying that,
What did I say?
okay. The guy to your right called me the next day and was mad that he got blamed for my not interviewing. And I asked him, why did you call me? And he got silent. So this is really ethical, a very ethical issue, and it goes beyond just ethics commission. It goes to the federal level, or not federal level, but the it's called the Sunshine Amendment. It's not even the Sunshine Law, it's the amendment. It is what we, as our conduct, should be. And it's ethical issues, and you can read that. Just look up Sunshine Amendment. So, I'm going to put out my recommendation. I would like to recommend, in good faith, that we take this opportunity, as required, outlined by our sunshine laws too, to correctly perform interview procedures, go back, make us a good, ethical, solid interview procedures, and with Mr. Hubbard declining our offer, this is an opportunity, and he declined ours and came back with a counter offer of $105,000 and increasing the separation benefits from 12 weeks to 16 weeks. And by moving forward with I think we need to move forward with interviews until we find the right person, because we have Mel that's helping, and we should not minimize this. This should be a super majority vote when we do vote, meaning 4 instead of 3. And our city deserves this. Our city deserves this. The council was put here to serve the citizens as a whole, not as an individual. And would you like to say something, Mr. Whalen?
No, I just agree with that last comment. Citizens as a whole, not
It
just the
does.
select few.
Well, also, you're saying that there's all these workers, city workers, that want Mr. Hubbard. Do you know how many people were here when Mr. Hubbard was here? There were 2 in the office up here, and there was about 8 out here so about 10. So that's about 10. So compared to like 53 that we have now. So it's 20%, less than 20%. So I've had my say. I think everybody's had their say. So go ahead.
Yeah, I just add that he also reduced, you missed the part where he reduced his moving costs too. So that's the other thing.
From 70-something to 7,000 to 6,000. Yeah.
Correct, he reduced it, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. 17 candidates, we looked at all their resumes. 6 we chose, all of us chose at this table, 6 interviews for either here or virtual. We ended up with 2. Those 2 were the top 2 picked by the council in the top 4. They were in the top 4, those 2.
And we had one that couldn't come because of the time. It was such a push time. Oh, you have to do it on this date. The other one was intimidated and dropped out. And 2 of them, and y'all can think it's funny, I don't care, but 2 of them actually got other jobs. So, you know, when you narrow your pool down, there were other applicants. There were applicants that came in after that. So I think we're doing an injustice to this city by moving the way we've been moving.
Can I finish?
Sure.
Thank you.
Thought you were.
Pardon me?
I thought you were.
Chris I wrote down that Chris has the skills and professional experience that's relevant to the position. He's done the job. He has the experience and the achievements. He's done it right here in our own city. Chris has the qualifications needed to do the job. He's a match. While it's true the other applicants other applicants overlapped in skills. I understand that, I got that. Chris had the hands-on experience. That was my choice. And I think that his problem-solving skills, his leadership, his public service while he was here, strong writing and verbal skills, I mean, understanding our computer system. I had a bunch of notes. The last note I had on there may be something that everybody might want to look at. If you get arrested in the state of Florida, and they take your fingerprints, and they take a mug shot of you, that's on your record forever unless you choose to have it expunged or sealed, whether you're guilty or not. You might want to look into that.
So, let me ask you, because you said yourself that Mr. Marsh, the day that you turned around and voted, you said Mr. Marsh was the most qualified.
On mine, on my form.
No, you said it here sitting at the table. You said Mr. Marsh is the most qualified. And then when y'all decided to vote, you voted for Mr. Hubbard. And I know it's, yes, it is his right, absolutely. I just, yeah.
I voted for him, that's true.
Okay. So you changed your mind that Mr. Marsh was not best candidate, was not.
I don't know what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, I went back there. So, anything else at the table? I know this is quite political here, and this, you know, the atmosphere is.
I think it would be advisable once again to go back through the process and, you know, just be more diligent about the format under which we chose the candidates and how we questioned the candidates, that, you know, maybe we could do a better job the next time. And Mr. Hubbard has already interviewed, and, you know, it would be nice to maybe possibly, you know, research other people in different avenues and try to get a bigger pool to choose from. We just were narrowed down to those two that day.
And I'm on board with that, as well as, you know, the fact that we do have other applicants, and this is an opportunity. We messed up as a council. I'm taking blame just as much as we did not have a good process. Now, does that say Mr. Hubbard can't continue to be on the list of candidates? Absolutely not. He could come back and end up with a second interview. I think we need to do the process, and we need to do it right. Now, that's all I'm going to say about that. I think we're not doing what's best for our city in the manner in which we did it, including myself. Okay. Open the table, whatever y'all want to do.
I make a motion that we hire Mr. Hubbard at a salary of $105, 16 weeks max, no city-owned vehicle, and $6,000 living expenses.
So in other words, you accept his counter?
I do.
I second.
Tammy, would you like to call the roll?
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Mr. Welly?
Yes.
Ms. Hamilton? No. Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes. No, I mean. No, I do not. I do not accept that counter offer. Sorry. Yes, I am Mayor Miller. All right. Let's see. I think we have one more agenda item. Sorry, it's under all my paperwork, but I think we've talked about the, just got new stuff on my other papers. To talk about the accountant. Review and action on Director of Finance counter offer, and I think hers is last. All right, I'll open the table with Linda.
No citizens come?
Oh, no. Go ahead, ma'am. I'm sorry.
What are we gonna do, citizen comment?
No, ma'am, that was at the beginning.
I guess in concern to her counter offer, I think she's asking a lot of us in the counter offer. I think we were offering her 70 a year, and then she wants 80, and then 90 days later she wants 85, and she wants 10,000 for moving expenses. I think that's asking a bit much, personally. You know, I would like to maybe go back to the consideration that let her work as she is right now remotely until maybe we could consider the option of going with an accounting firm, which I think Mr. Wolf had suggested that a while back. That would save us from the cost of the benefits of that employee, that would save us the moving costs and a lot of the different expenses involved in that. So I do not agree with her counter offer.
You're next.
Thank you.
Yes.
I evaluated Miss Lucas. I reckon that's what we should have been doing before we did all this. And I requested the email between her and Tammy and Ms. Harmon. And if you read these emails, I'm not really keeping the lady. My evaluation of her is not good at all. If it wasn't for Tammy and Ms. Harmon, I mean, I don't even know if we got the retirement system paid. She wouldn't okay the check for $2,800. It's just, I got this stack here full of emails. And she works from 9 to 5. And you can't get in touch with her. Nothing wrong, I know the lady working remotely, but I think we need to put her job back open for bid. After reading this, when we interviewed her, she was well qualified, but I think her job employment may be above what the city needs.
Okay. Anything else? Okay.
We're going to talk about the counteroffer first. I do not like the counteroffer at all, but I'm not at the point of saying that we need to move on, but I do have some very serious concerns regarding federal income tax payments, Florida retirement report that as of 3 o'clock has not been filed and is 10 days late, and the trim process that was done last minute. But I'm not ready to cut her loose because I really believe that working 2 jobs is difficult, and that might be the issue. So that's why I was so in favor of bringing her in-house, because I think she has the ability to do it. I think she can do the job. I just want to bring her in-house. Then there's the dynamic of if we make this a full-time employee and it's going to work for the administrator, maybe we need to post it as an employee and have the administrator hire it instead of the contract. But I also like what Ms. Hamilton said about an accounting firm. I mean, I'm open to listen today. I'm not made up either way, but I don't think it's working right now.
I've done the same thing with going through the office, asking questions, and I think the real problem here is we want to take some blame as a council. I mean, we really take some blame here as far as hiring her, knowing that, I guess we didn't know. I think I didn't know. I figure the rest of you didn't either, the way it was explained to us during the interview, but she has a full-time job from 8 to 3:30. So we have a full-time job, 8 to 3:30, to communicate with nobody. And that's basically what's been going on for a while. And normal calls are not picked up. We were in a situation where we would dial our accountant and get her right on the phone and have a conversation. So that's really been a big hindrance. The reports, I mean, I think everybody at this table is aware of the reports that haven't made it to where they need to make it. I mean, there was not 1, but 3. The DR 420 was done last minute, which had to do with our millage rate and taxes and personal property. It was done 10 minutes before 5 when it was due. I think to date, the Florida retirement program that was supposed to be paid on the 5th has not been paid. The 941 employees payroll audit report, she gave instructions to Mary, one of our staff, to pay $42,000. It was recalculated, and the actual payment was $278. So I see that as a problem. I don't think the word fire should even come out of our mouth. We have a contract with this person, and it's a subcontractor. I think we should break the contract and move on and hire a firm.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Just on that, I do think that we are a little bit to blame because I don't know that we were clear in the amount of work it was for someone remotely.
I think it was on contract 20 to 25.
Was it 20 to 25? Yeah.
It's not realistic.
I think that is part of the process that was a problem there because, you know, she had made the comment one day that I didn't realize it was as much time as it was. And I thought, ooh, I didn't realize that we weren't clear on that.
I think maybe Debbie had the same thing because I think she was working more than the 20, 25 hours a week. So, yeah. So, anybody want to make a motion? What do you want to do? I mean.
I make a motion that we break our contract
Okay.
and move on and search a firm.
Okay. And by the way, I think Michael and Mel, tell me if I'm wrong. I think Michael had some kind of RFQ attached with Bay that we don't even have to go through that. We can just go piggyback and get one. So that saves a lot of time.
No, that's an enormous amount of time.
Yeah, enormous amount of time. So,
Agree with you.
all right. So you're going to make a motion?
I did.
I'll second
And
that
you
motion.
second the motion? Okay. And Tammy, would you call? I have a question. Do you, okay.
Can I
We'll
ask
go ahead
a
and
question?
rescind our motion.
Sorry, well, we can leave the motion, but I just have a question. Are we able to function without somebody in this role? Are we confident that we can continue on?
Don't we have 30 days in the contract?
Not if we fire her.
No, don't fire her, we just move the
I
contract.
can't remember, I think you guys,
We're canceling the contract
Yeah.
with 30-day notice?
30-day notice,
Well,
that's
then
what
you
it
I
is.
can't remember off the top of my head what it is.
Because this is important, because I want to make sure we don't have bigger problems fall through the crack.
I know she had to give us 30-day notice.
Yeah, but
I don't
think
remember,
if
I don't
we-
remember.
If we cancel this contract, then I don't think, I'm not 100% sure either, I don't have it in front of me, but I don't think that, well, if you cancel, this is done for hers. I don't think hers has the
So the
built-in.
question is, can we transition? Do we have to?
And I'm sure she'll be willing to.
I think Tammy knows how to do the retirement report if need be. And I think Mary fixed the 941, it sounds like, so maybe we're okay. I want to make sure that we are okay if we have nobody.
It will be a burden on them having to do something they weren't supposed to do, so it'll take away from their other duties, of course. But it's a temporary thing and we can handle it.
But they have been doing it. I see his emails, they have been doing it. so-
Because they had to, correct.
That's true, they had to, so.
Could we, like, maybe do a motion that we give her, have 30 days? I mean, I don't have her contract, so I don't know if that's even in there.
I'm good to terminate however the contract says, as long as we're covered.
How long does it take to get an accounting firm in position and to get them up and rolling?
We can get a list of those accounting firms that work for other communities who have gone out for bid, and then we can just choose which one that we feel appropriate. Of course, we don't want to do it without interviewing them and asking questions and that sort of thing. But we can get a list for you fairly quickly.
As we get that list, I'd like to recommend we get that list based on a 100-mile radius. So that if we have to visit or something like that, or they have to come here, they
I
can.
think if it's from our local communities, it would be. If we're doing off Bay County, it will be. It'll be local stuff. Yep.
I have one more question. Were you here when they hired the accounting firm last year, or was it in place, or last time, or it wasn't in place when you got here?
I remember we went with Everett.
And then it was the
And
Robertson.
then Robertson for the accounting, yes.
Maybe we have that old RFP still, somewhere.
That would be good. That worked really well.
That's 10 miles away.
If they're comfortable, I'm comfortable. Sorry. I was
So
being advertised.
maybe we need to be clear on the termination date. You want to do it at the end of the month?
See, the only thing I would say
They'll
about
give a
that,
couple.
what I would say about that is if you've had a really hard time contacting Ms. Lucas up to this point, you give her 30 days notice.
Doesn't matter.
You're not gonna get anything from her. That's true.
Just let it go.
I think she would fulfill it to the end of the month.
They are doing the
The goal is
job,
for
right?
us to move faster.
So what,
You had a motion on the table.
Still a motion on the table, right?
yeah, okay. And You good?
I'm
Everybody
good.
good?
Just-
Terminated? Okay.
She needs you to reiterate your motion.
I make a motion that we terminate the contract.
Effective,
Pardon me?
effective.
Effective immediately.
We need to be clear, or 2
And
weeks.
then
As quick as you can pursuant to the contract, I think
Yeah.
would be the best way to put it.
It'd be nice if we had the contract in front of us.
Can we put that as quick as we can pursuant to the contract?
Okay, that'd work.
Ms. Hamilton, you still second?
I do second.
Okay. And when you're done, you can call it.
You drive as fast as you can.
I know.
Mr. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Hamilton?
Yes.
Mayor Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Welly?
Yes.
Mr. Wolf?
Yes.
Okay. What if? That was simple.
So, do anyone like to move to adjourn?
I'd love to.
Meeting is adjourned.